Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sporty Spotlight podcast. So, usually you'd have me and usually you'd have Daniel with me as well on here, but yeah, he's got some family business that he needs to attend to, so he can't be with us this evening. So you got me. Lucky you. So let's just get straight into it. First of all, Tuesday night, Norwich got a really honestly sort of deserved, but at the same time should have got less out of it. 0-0 draw at Fratton Park against Portsmouth. Now, I really think that Portsmouth deserved to win. They took a lot of their chances. They had a goal disallowed, and it really wasn't Norwich's day at all. It was quite awful, really. I'm quite happy that I didn't spend 15 odd quid to watch it, and I feel even worse for all the 1,300 Norwich fans that travelled on Tuesday night. By the way, that's spectacular support, and you those levels of support they've got to match what we see on the field. I really do think that it was highly affected by the fact that Kenny McLean's suspension that did play a massive part, but still paying you good money for it. So, couple of other results that worth mentioning. So Coventry lost 2-0 at the Hawthorns against West Bromwich Albion. So, yeah, West Brom beat their Midlands rivals 2-0 in a Midlands derby. So, yeah, Frank Lampard's got quite the job on his hands, and he's getting right into it right here, right now, because, I think there was a draw against Cardiff, a win against Millwall, and a loss against West Brom. So that's his first loss as manager. He's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders now, and so yeah, I look forward to seeing how that unfolds over the next couple of months, and I look forward to seeing how Coventry set up on the 4th when they come to Carrow Road as well. So, other things that are worth talking about. Yeah, Man City lost 2-0 away at Juventus. So yeah, just when they thought that the tide was sort of turning, even though they did drop points against Palace, even though you could say the Crystal Palace dropped points. Depends on what way you want to look at it from. Yeah, very, very disappointing result again for Pep Guardiola's side, and that Premier League title race is just drifting further and further and further away from them now. And because of course you just get the feeling that City will go on like a 20-game unbeaten streak at the end of the season, but like this sort of form it's really bad, honestly. Like going into the Manchester derby this weekend, like honestly you can't really tell which team is worse in this point of time, because they're both awful, honestly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Man City Man United this Sunday, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it'll be a good derby. Or it might be. I really hope it is. Of course, derbies never disappoint. But yeah, when it's like in this sort of momentum going into both fixtures, when the momentum has not been swinging at all, it's been completely still, then anything can happen really. So yeah, very very excited to see how this one pans out. So, I'm looking forward to this weekend in terms of plenty of Premier League fixtures going on now, and yeah, and lots of League One and League Two back again at it this weekend. I really like how the system works, where there's plenty of lower league and European games. And speaking of Europe, also worth mentioning. Yeah, so first of all, Rangers got a very credible draw against Tottenham last night. Of course, it's really not ideal for Tottenham, because as Dejan Kulusevski said in his interview afterwards, Tottenham did not deserve to lose the game, and yeah, Rangers probably deserve to win. All credit to them. So yeah, sort of would have really given Ange Postecoglou PTSD from his days at Rangers. They would have loved that. I mean, it's Celtic. Oh God, I'm sorry. His days at Celtic. Yeah, and also in the Europa League. Um, well, we talked about the Champions League as well. There are potentially other results we could get into? We could talk about Bayern Barcelona. Yeah. So Man United last night scraped past Victoria Pleasant, which that's really been overshadowed by Man United fans as a really good win, because that's papering over the cracks really, because they know. I've seen plenty of Man United fans on social media, and they know how poor that performance was really. And yeah, Ruben Amorim's, like I said, same with Frank Lampard. He's got a hell of a job on his shoulders, and to be honest, it's going to take a long time. Of course, football projects, they take time, and but it also depends on how much time that United give him, really, because Eric Ten Hag still had a decent amount. I think he still had over a year on his contract when he was sacked, and they had to do like a £17 million payout. So yeah, but we'll see how the next couple of months pan out, and this Sunday will be Amorim's first really, really, really major test, because this is his chance to show what he's really made of, show why everyone was saying he was such a wonder at Sporting Lisbon, and that sort of thing. So there was plenty of lower league action going on this week. Even more specifically, EFL Trophy. But yeah, at the moment, currently, of course, I'm sorry, there's much less to talk about when I'm not with Daniel, because he's very interesting, and he's able to keep these conversations flowing. So yeah, currently in the Championship, blimmin' hell, I checked last time and it was 2-0. Yeah, Derby are 3-0 up against Portsmouth at the moment, inside half an hour, which is, it's very impressive. That shows the sort of mirroring the sort of football they were playing in League One last season. But yeah, that's very much Paul Warne. He continues this sort of momentum. His job's in safety. There's no more question of him potentially getting sacked, because that probably has been something that's been mentioned, because Derby, they've been not necessarily fantastic over the last couple of weeks. It could have been much, much better. But yeah, that's very credible. So, and another result that's very much worth talking about, Luton beating Stoke 2-1. It was sort of like a moment of jubilation when that Elijah Adebayo goal went in the 90th minute, and that's a massive goal, not only for Luton and their fight to get anything from this season, but also for Rob Edwards and him keeping his job. I thought he would get sacked after the Norwich game, then he wasn't. He was in charge for the Swansea game, and he's just got them. Honestly, a deserved 2-1 win. Luton were on top that game. Stoke didn't take their chances. Tom Cannon didn't really do as much despite the goal, and yeah, it was fully deserved on Luton's part. So yeah, fair play to them. So we got plenty. So EFL. So in the Championship right now, going into match day 21. So Preston against Leeds tomorrow. That is the Lancashire derby. So yeah, of course, Leeds, they've been high flying pretty much for the majority of this season, and Preston, they're always in a bit of a weird place where they're either in decent form or they're in really crap form. So not really much I can really determine about them, but yeah. On Sunday, in the 3:00 kickoff on Sunday on Sky Sports Plus, Norwich taking on Burnley at Carrow Road. So this is usually, like, in terms of, in historical sort of fashion, this isn't exactly. Burnley at home hasn't really been an easy fixture for the Canaries, for a while at least. at home or away, really. Last time that we played them at home, specifically, they beat us 3-0. And yeah, those were back in the Vincent Company days, which are relatively long gone now. But yeah, so it's gonna be a hard game, and we're coming off two really poor away results. But yeah, gotta back the boys as always. I'd take a draw in that one, really, considering how Burnley are doing. They're always a force to be reckoned with in the Championship. They haven't not been for a very long time. I really do see them bouncing straight back up, which isn't exactly healthy for a football club, being sort of yo-yos like that. Who am I to talk? But yeah, it's gonna be a difficult game. I am unfortunately not going to be going because I'm extremely personally busy with family stuff and commitments to them. But yeah, I will be going to the Millwall game on Boxing Day, which we'll get on to hopefully in the next podcast, because that will be the sort of last one before. No, it won't be the last one before Christmas or around that. But yeah, it will be one of the last ones. So let's take a look at plenty of Premier League fixtures going on this weekend as well. So Wolves are playing against Ipswich, which I really do think is a relegation 6-pointer. And also, I learned from Nathan Connor, it's actually the first time that these two teams have ever faced off in the Premier League specifically, which it's quite a milestone for both, and also quite surprising as well. So yeah, that's a relegation 6-pointer. I do think that on paper Wolves have a much better team than Ipswich. In fact, I thought on paper that Wolves had a better team than West Ham, but it comes down to management, really. Gary O'Neill seems to be staying in the job for the time being. Hasn't been sacked yet, specifically, but it will happen at some point. It will happen at some point in the season, sooner or later. It's going to happen though, because that just happens in football. It's a capitalist game now, and whoever manages the worst will get you the worst results, which brings you in the least money, even though it does sound dodgy, but it's a capitalist game now. So yeah, of course, we talked about Man City, Man United. Another one that's probably sort of worth talking about is the Sunday night kickoff at 7 o'clock, which I don't really agree with, just as I don't agree with blooming 12:30 kickoffs on a Sunday. But yeah, Sunday kickoff at 7 is Southampton-Tottenham. So yeah, Tottenham are a bit weird at the moment. You seriously think they wouldn't lose to Southampton on paper, but you would have said that against Ipswich and they lost 2-1. So you honestly don't have a clue with Spurs, really. But yeah, Southampton really need the points. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're gonna do anything special with that. Anyway, Chelsea at the same time are playing against Brentford. I've been personally really impressed with what Enzo Maresca is doing at Chelsea at the moment. I really didn't think that it would be going the way it has, because he just come up from winning the championship with Leicester, which is remarkable, but then to go from a championship winner to a Premier League top 4 contender or even title contender, that's quite it's mad, really, what Maresca's doing. But yeah, full kudos to him because he's completely defied many people's expectations, and I really do think that he'll continue to do so. So yeah, congrats. So yeah, it's remarkable, really, but also you would sort of expect it with the team that Chelsea have on paper, because they have spent a lot of money, and eventually that does need to start showing on the pitch. So yeah, the got more Monday night football next week. West Ham travel to the South Coast to play Bournemouth. Now, this is going to be weird. I can really see West Ham losing this game because it just seems to be a constant cycle with this West Ham team at the moment under Julian Lopetegui. Win one really convincingly, lose one really unconvincingly, and that's just it's just weird because I was at the Ipswich game and I thought, okay, we can kick on now because that was a good win, albeit against quite a poor side, but still a good win nonetheless. But then we went and lost 4-1 to Spurs. So yeah, it's gonna be a weird one. I can really see Lopetegui potentially losing his job over the next couple of weeks if this continues, because I really don't see him doing a sort of David Wagner and just turning his season around just like that. But yeah, anything can happen. It's football. So worth going through some the League One fixtures from this weekend. So yeah, Bolton versus Wigan tomorrow. It's the 12:30 kickoff, of course. Big derby. It's a lower league derby. Also, of course, the ones that you look forward to. So yeah, interesting to see how that turns out. It's been a rough couple of years for both clubs because Bolton, they've just been marooned in League One forever, and Wigan, they're the team that you'd probably expect to be doing better, but they've been hit by points deductions, poor attendances, and blooming God knows what else. But yeah, both teams are honestly on paper quite poor, but Bolton are probably the favourites of the two right now because they're there. So Wigan are 19th in League One, Bolton are 7th. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll try and catch the highlights of it. I'll definitely be keeping track of this one. But yeah, it's honestly really tight. It's a 3-horse race in League One at the moment between Wickham, Wrexham, and Birmingham, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, I really think that League One is an underrated league, even though I have not heard good things about it. I've heard the title races down there are good, even though I've been told by some people that the football isn't all it's cracked up to be. So we've done that. So we've got through the League One stuff going on in League One. Worth going through the League Two standings right now. So yeah, Walsall are currently top of the league, closely followed behind Port Vale and Doncaster. I really think that Doncaster really should be getting promoted this season because the season they had, the last one, they were 19th in the table and favourites to get relegated to the National League, and then they went ahead and got playoffs, which was blooming incredible, beyond anyone's expectations really. And yeah, Chesterfield are being a sort of dark horse at the moment. They're currently 8th, which for a team that's been out of the Football League for ages, that's remarkable. So yeah, well done Chesterfield. So probably the fixtures tomorrow in there: Colchester, Newport County. I've got a couple of mates that go into that. Bradford are playing Swindon. So yeah, that'll be a really important game for Swindon because they're in a dire situation right now. I wouldn't want to be a Swindon Town fan at the moment, but do I think they've got what it takes to get out of that hole? Yes, because I think they're a Premier League team in my opinion. In my opinion, any team that was in the inaugural season of the Premiership deserves to be able to have the right to call themselves a Premier League team. And of course, Swindon, they were in that season, even though they did concede 100 goals. They were part of that. They were part of that special, I think it was 24. This one is still had 24 teams. Yeah, so they deserve to call them. They deserve to have that name. It's just my opinion, though. Of course, yours will be different. So yeah, that's pretty much main stuff that's going on across the Football League this season. Well, this weekend anyway. Of course, weekends are always ones that you look forward to for things like this. Of course, stuff going on in everyone's lives, but this is one of many, many things, and don't we love it? So yeah, thanks very much for tuning in this evening. I hope you have enjoyed. Please do consider liking and subscribing to help grow the channel, and to go and subscribe to Daniel as well. You can find the link to his channel in the titles of the other podcasts, and go and check those out as well. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, for joining us this evening, and I hope you all have a lovely weekend.